What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video, another episode of Everybody Hates Black Men. I'm your host, Edward Anderson. Today, you know it's real. When I decided to title a video. Um, so we talking Ryan Clark. We're talking a couple other topics as well, but Ryan Clark is going to be center of the conversation. And while you all get in here, while y'all are in here, appreciate y'all for checking out the couple of uploads I did this month. Hopefully we can finish out the month. I'm gonna try to aim to have 10 by the end of the month. I know that sounds crazy coming from me, but yeah, have 10 more by the end of the month. Shout out to Fawcett Media. Fawcett Media was on the Corey Holcomb show. Shout out to Corey Holcomb for actually featuring, content creators with his platform. I know he's taking a lot of time. He's putting a lot of time into that platform, put a lot of energy into that platform. The 5150 going back gears, which is his own thing. I remember going all the way back to the foxhole. A lot of folks don't. A lot of folks, especially I'm 38, so if you're under 30, you definitely don't know what the foxhole is. Really, if you're probably under like 32, I would argue you probably don't know what the foxhole is, and don't know how far some of these conversations go back. The pre-podcast era, the pre-blog talk era, or the blog talk era. These are not new conversations, even though people like to have these conversations like they're new. And look, man, I understand people got to get their money. I'm not trying to be a hater, but the reality of the situation is, the problem is a lot of y'all go for the bag, like the community. It's not even about just the community, but the community is burning. And way too many people. I don't need people to be quote unquote woke, or not necessarily be aware, red pill, but I definitely need you to be aware of what's going on in your own area. And one thing that really annoys me is how black people are basic as hell when it comes to understanding what's in their own environment. They don't understand anything unless it affects them in a negative way. And you can tell by how a lot of folks are speaking on this. A lot of people think this stuff is a game. A lot of people approach this very high school. They approach this that it's not a big deal. It's just conversation. When people are really, really doing things based on the collective, like, zeitgeist or conversation that they're hearing. Some people would say it's just the internet. It ain't real. This stuff ain't going on real life. So I want you to show me where the actual thriving black community is. Like, show me that county. Show me a zone where the black community is like just thriving. Not like you got a couple of individuals doing well, but like as a community, the stuff is thriving. Like if you compare to other communities, no community is perfect, but when you show me where the group mindset amongst black people is. Show me that in real life, and nobody never can. Nobody never can, but this shit is just internet, which is another way of saying this shit ain't real. Now it's from somebody that I agree with for the most part. And a lot of times when people talk about this single mother, single father thing, they want to talk about, this ain't real. Yeah, niggas are fucking single mothers, but niggas ain't really Here's the thing, man. Black people got to understand the difference between fucking and commitment. Black men, the bar is extremely low for what black men will fuck. Black men will put their dick in damn near anything. Most black men. But the question is, what are you going to commit to? And that's what a lot of women don't like to talk about. And that's because that's where a lot of the complaints are, right? That's, what the women don't want to talk about. And that's what a lot of people don't want to talk about. So we say like shit ain't real. Like, yeah, man, y'all talk about single mothers ain't getting dick. Like, I wish y'all would just say it that way. But if single mothers getting real commitment, no. They have to string together commitment from a bunch of niggas that may come through when they come through, which is, by the way, fucked up for your children. It's a fucked up situation. And like I said, we're getting the first real crop of kids that have been raised in that type of bullshit. And you see what it is. And everybody has to deal with you understand, when people are bad parents, And the women get the main heat for this because you all are custodians of the kids. Obviously you got the morning after pill. Obviously you got birth control. The truth be told, if you're not on birth control, but you take the morning after pill, that's it. That's an out. So this bullshit about I don't like birth control, it affects it differently. All these excuses, fuck you. You don't want to wear condoms. You don't want birth control. That's called. But you want to be out here fucking. That's called a hoe. That's called a slut. Fuck what you talking about. Especially with the rising and the raising of STDs out here, and especially in certain cities. A lot of y'all are knowingly fucking dirty dick niggas. Like, do not assume these chicks don't know. I'm gonna get to Ryan Clark in a second, but do not assume these chicks don't know. They're liars. It is 2025. I didn't know. These hoes be in Facebook groups. They in CIA level Facebook groups. You niggas, I told you, dice is real. Before the T, I'm the nigga that came up with dice. T-app. What do you think that is? T-apps are outgrowths of the fucking Facebook groups. These women love getting intel on niggas. Now they think it's a danger to them. That's another reason why, real talk, some of these niggas are getting stuck the fuck up. Which nobody never talks about because nobody doesn't care. Press 1 if y'all can hear me. Because my shit wasn't muted. Landon can clearly hear me, so press 1 if the rest of y'all can hear me. Yeah, so some of y'all might need to leave and come back. Press 1 if y'all were able to hear me the whole time. Okay, because I wasn't muted this time. Okay. Anyway, so like I was saying, like the thing about it is, the reality is you know what the term iceberg is, which is like under the waterline. Icebergs are a lot larger under the waterline and above the waterline. Like, when you really look at like how much women lie, like even the Sha'Carri Richardson situation, that's a perfect example of the mindset that women, and when I listen to Joe Budden, and I listen to like you hear Ryan Clark said, and Joe Budden, even how Joe Budden, like Mark Lamont Hill covered it. Like, fuck that. A lot of motherfuckers gotta have a look, man. Real talk. Let's just keep it all the way a buck. You niggas can't say what really needs to be said because y'all got sponsors. Just that's what it is. Y'all got corporate sponsors, and because women, this is why women for the most part are broke. White women are not broke because they get a lot of inheritance money, but most women are broke because most women spend, especially black women are worse at this. They spend their money on feeling good. This is one of the reasons why the society wants to decouple women from men, because that allows them to be more vulnerable to manipulation and more vulnerable to advertising. That's why. That's why you go work and you can spend that money and they can take it back. If you really look at most people are not capable of really looking at things from a wealth standpoint, because that requires a certain, especially women, because that requires a certain level of long-term thinking that like women just don't do. Like that. That they don't do like that. Wealth is a long-term game. Wealth is not a short-term game. So women don't think that way. They just don't. Hold on one second. They don't think long-term. They don't. So as a result, they just get money and they spend it. I don't want to hear that. Not everybody bullshit, because you know who the fuck. I hate when people say some but not all and not everybody, like they don't know who the fuck I'm talking about, or they think I'm just talking about. If I bring anything up, I'm not talking about a minority of people. I'm not. And I really can't stand when people do the some but not all fucking deflection. I really can't. I cannot fucking stand that. Because it's like I'm too fucking old. And most of y'all are too old to be playing that fucking game. As if y'all don't understand. Y'all talk about racism. Every white person ain't racist, but y'all still talk about racism. Every motherfucker ain't colorist, but y'all still talk about color. Most people ain't assaulted no female, but we still talk about that. But anyway, you ain't that late. I only been live for 12 minutes. But anyway, yeah, so people play the game. People play these games. Like I said before, 95% of that shit is your fault. Women, like, a lot of people want to act like women, it just happened. It ain't never just happened. Bitch, you was just fucking. You were very intentional about what you do. So going to like the Scarface Mark situation with and all that shit they talking about, where some people are trying to sneak shit in. No. Like, the reality is now, people say, well, you taking him off the... No, it's not. For his own life, for his own quality of life, relationships, money, time, freedom, and health, right? He is accountable to that 100% of his own outcomes for his own situation. So if that chick breaks bad on him, if he ends up having to pay child support, that is on him. Yes. But if we're talking about this from a general standpoint, like, we're not talking about somebody's personal stats. We're talking about like if a team, let's say a team is trash, but your personal stats is good. Well, you got things like stat packing, whatever, right? But your personal stats may be good. They may be good. But that does not mean that the team still didn't make the playoffs. That doesn't mean the team isn't garbage. Hell, you could be a NFL prospect, NBA prospect on a garbage-ass team. That's your individual shit for your individual career and stuff. That's not the same for the team. And in this situation, in the situation of when a baby is made, the man and the woman, the reality is the woman has the ability to abort. In most states, the woman has the ability to take the money out. The only thing a man can really do is take a condom. That's it. That's it. And women play womb games with their womb, and then they want to, that's why they love keeping it's the man's fault, it's the man's fault, it's the man's fault. Because this allows them to undercut their own bullshit. Everything's the man's fault. Don't pay attention to anything I'm doing. And it's a lot of detail in a lot of the goofy shit women do. Women do not know. Women, like, real talk, women, like, when women are not accidentally having these children. They don't accidentally get pregnant. They do it on purpose. They're purposeful. Like, women cannot get pregnant any time of the month. Women know they're taught their cycle. And if men understood more about that, I'm not going to act like I'm a one-on-one expert, but if you understand more about that, these bitches can't get pregnant. BGS was talking about these bitches can't get pregnant any time of the month. It is a window. They know their window. And so whether it's Dana, whether it's whatever, because Dana, as far as I'm concerned, Dana doing that, I don't know what's going on. Dana doing that either because the man pissed her off or because she want a bag. That's why. She want a bag and she need to bring some of these women back. She's over the fact that they were talking about her dead mother. She's over that. And now, she's like, you know what? Fuck them bitches, but I'm still gonna bring some of them back. Because my numbers ain't been the same. Because we all know it's way more money in holding dudes accountable to black women than it is holding black women accountable. The money don't flow that way. Which is why people always say we do this for a bag, I always laugh. But at the end of the day, I hold people accountable to their own outcomes, not what I think is the virtuous way to go. And so at the end of the day, these women play games with themselves. So we can say all this bullshit about it. Say, no, fuck all that. Fuck y'all with these sponsors. Because a lot of, like, whether it's Joe Button or Ryan Clark, all these motherfuckers got sponsors. And that's what, and really, it's mind control. You can't trust most of what they say. Because they're never going to tell it like it is. Because the money don't flow, don't reward that. That's what it is. That's the truth. That's the truth. Most of you niggas are not going to sacrifice. Most of you niggas would have never been on here as long as I've been on here without a bag being involved. That some people can say I'm foolish for that. Whatever. But at the end of the day, you can't say that I'm compromised though. You also can't say that. And so a lot of people are either pursuing a bag and what they say is predicated on that. Or they're pursuing an angle. And so when we have these conversations about certain things, a lot of times it's not advantageous to bring history into it, to bring context into it, because all that does is pisses the hoes off, and the hoes are who spends the money. That's really what the fuck it is. And at the end of the day, that's a game y'all play with yourself. Because we all have our own lives to live, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody, including me, says on this fucking internet. If you're a fucking loser and you fucking down bad and you fucked up, it don't matter if you believe what somebody says or not. That's true. The truth is, if you a 38-year-old female and you got a couple of kids, you are not going to be able to pull the same shit you was able to pull at 28. You not. Because even if you were to, the nigga you pulling is most likely gonna be older than you. Which means that's already a discount you gotta take. So if you 38 and you gotta get with a 47